What is your favourite album? Now, I'm well aware this is a very difficult question. I don't even know my definitive favourite album of all time, but there's one album that has been consistently in my top 5 favourite albums, and that is the Rage Against the Machine self-titled first album. But I haven't listened to it in years. So this week I've decided I want to listen to this album again and see if it's as good as I remember it being 20 years ago. I would listen to that album anywhere and everywhere.
I'm out with the dog. It's a bit of a peaceful time of day for me, so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna put my headphones in and have a first listen to this album.
Okay, let's give you a quick update on this.
I've just been listening to the album. As soon as I turned it on, it really genuinely brought a smile to my face. But I've had to turn the album off. I don't usually listen to music when I'm out walking the dog. It's one of my moments of the day where I feel quite relaxed. It just didn't feel right. It's a little bit like you're experiencing this, but to the soundtrack of this.
So I got in the car, I set off to work, just doing my rounds teaching kids how to play guitar, and I put the album on again.
Okay, I need to give you another update on this, so I'm just going to pull in for a second. So essentially, the same thing's happened again. I've just been listening to the album. Is that a fox? I've listened to about 2 songs, and again, I'm absolutely loving it. But the thing is, I'm going out now and I'm teaching kids how to play guitar, and I have to say, I feel like I'm driving more aggressively than I normally would. Come on, get a move on.
There's no one actually there, I'm just acting.
I don't know, this isn't the right kind of mindset to be in when I'm going out teaching kids how to play guitar.
If I think back to this stage of my life when I was really listening to this album a lot, it was when I was going through my teenage years, and I'm sure that most people go through this kind of period in their teenage years where they see the world differently, and you start feeling this frustration, you start feeling this kind of anger with the world. And this music perfectly summed up that feeling at that stage of my life. It's full of teenage angst, it's full of power and energy, and it's an album about rebellion, which is perfect when you're going through this kind of rebellious stage of your life. I used to listen to this album all the time because I used to feel like this angry teenager all the time, whereas now I don't feel like that. So it feels like even though I'm enjoying listening to the album, it's hard to find a time that feels appropriate for me to listen to it. When I look back with hindsight, my favourite times listening to the album was when I was playing along with it on the guitar. At this stage of life, I was also first learning to play the guitar, and this album was really inspirational for me back then. I used to sit down every single night and just learn my favourite riffs and play along with the song. When I've been listening to this album this week, I can honestly say that I've been really, really enjoying it. And it's like listening to the album again with new ears, because I'm a different person to how I was back then. It reminds me of how I used to feel when I used to listen to it. So I'm listening to it now really with just a sense of nostalgia. I've definitely found that I can't listen to this album anywhere and everywhere anymore. It kind of has to have a time and place.
Obviously, a nice relaxing dog walk is not the ideal scenario for listening to this album. Driving around isn't the right setting to be listening to it either.
But the thing that has remained the same is how much fun I've had picking up the guitar and playing along with it. But now it's kind of like bringing back these memories of when I was just so inspired to just pick up the guitar and practice all the time. Even though I don't listen to this album anymore, and I can tell that I'm not going to go back to listening to it anywhere and everywhere like I used to do, I'm still going to count it as one of my top 5 favourite albums of all time. Music can take you back to a certain period of your life, and this album takes me back to a time when I felt so inspired. For that reason alone, it's a really important album for me. Let me know your favourite albums in the comment section below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.